So we've got a single figure golfer here, very good player, only going to get better as well. But you'll see on the right hand side of the screen here, as he's making his backswing, getting to the top of the swing, nothing really in terms of his hip is moving towards the target. Now, this is something we see players almost get wrong or not quite understand, is where they're trying to get the pressure on their right foot to the top of the backswing and then move it onto the left foot to start the downswing. It all happens a lot earlier than that. So the issue the player was having here was this shot actually on the right hand side went to the right, but that was one out of several. Most of the time the ball was going to the left because the club face pointed left. So club path out to the right, club face left, ball started left, went more left was the bad shot. So the reason that was happening, getting to the top of the swing and staying on this right side and having a long way to go to get back. Did it well sometimes, controlled the place well sometimes, but staying that long on your right side, even this little example here, is going to have big impact on quality of strike, face control, among other things, path as well. So let's have a look how we made those changes. So a lot of higher handicappers will see, they'll start their backswing and move off, sway, move off this way, whatever, hip, chest, everything can go way behind the ball. And sway's not such a bad thing, okay? Now you'll see players will start on the left foot, push off onto the right foot, but any movement laterally in the backswing tends to sort of be completed around about here, P2, where the club's shaft is parallel to the ground. Then they're going to start moving and recentering and getting back on the left side. Like I said already in the intro, it's not a backswing and then a downswing. Once you start the club moving the backswing, somewhere around this point, my hip's going to start rotating, move back to the center, and start the whole sequence and transition of my pressure and then my mass moving to my left side. Now, when we see players stay here for too long, typically it'll be ground first, thin, low point behind the ball. Obviously, much better player in this clip before. So he wasn't getting that much. A strike wasn't amazing for a single figure golf, but still very, very good. So the issue that we had here was more of when this player was staying, if I use the stick here on his right side to the top of the backswing, although he got to the ball well enough with a decent move forward, it wasn't quite the right time. Low point was still right, hitting down most of the time because his hands were quite good. But generally, when he got stuck back here and not getting forward enough, the club would look a little bit like this from exaggerating the impact. So getting forward, but not enough, club face closing. So when you lose this shaft lean towards impact, it's going to close the club face, as well as have some low point and strike issues here. So all we did to help start the ball to the right, because his shot was starting straight, moving left, or starting left, moving left as a bad one, all we did was change how we turned the backswing. So he already had this drive forward. It was just happening too late in the swing. We wanted that movement forward to happen a lot earlier. So we changed us from this position here. Rather than his hip turning and staying back on the right side, we just worked it more to the midline of his body, starting to increase the gap here between this stick that you can see and my hip. And as he did that, and he stayed more central, he started to move onto the left side a little bit earlier. Now, when you create some shaft lean, it opens the club face, and that's what we did. Club path moved slightly more right, which was fine. Attack angle went slightly more down, but at 100 miles an hour worth of 6-iron, hitting down a little bit more wasn't such a bad thing for him. The distance, by the way, with those irons he had was sort of the old money lofts, so 205 carry would have been very good with the 6-iron. So he's still fractionally down, but 200-yard carry with the 6-iron is probably quite good for most people. So if you're having low point issues, make sure you're getting back early onto that left side, or early enough. If you're having face control issues, in this case, that was the reason, it could also be that too for you. So lateral motion, bumping, sliding, whatever you want to call it, onto the right side is completely fine for the first portion of your swing, but you need to recenter earlier. Your downswing starts before you complete the backswing.